In the name of the cosmos. Hi, Mercury. What? Libra? For how long? Well, Mars is looking there, and Saturn. You better put your gloves on. Mercury moves into the sign of Libra on September 22nd until November 28th, where he comes under the scrutiny of Saturn and the affliction of Mars, where he'll have his last retrograde cycle of 2020 from October 13th until November 4th. Welcome to In the Name of the Cosmos. My name is Siri Prakash. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the long transit of Mercury into this Venus-ruled sign, how he'll be interacting with Saturn and Mars, and at the end of the video we'll take a look sign by sign to see what's occurring for each and every one of us. Now first, as always, let's take a look at the surrounding energies that are also impacting the transit of Mercury into the sign of Libra. So we currently have the north and south nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, the head and tail of the dragon, the destiny changers, the markers of shifts of consciousness. They're moving their signs on September 23rd, the day after Mercury's movement into the sign of Libra, where they change from the sign of Sagittarius and Gemini into Taurus and Scorpio. This adds to the intensity of the environment surrounding Mercury's transit into the sign of Libra. Then as Mercury is moving and ingressing into this sign, he comes under the affliction of Saturn, who's strong retrograde, actually stationing there, where he's preparing to go direct on September 29th. And then we have Mars, who's retrograde, strong in his own sign, in the sign of Airies, giving his seventh aspect to the sign of Libra, making a lot of pressure there. Libra's a very afflicted sign right now as it comes under the aspect of these two heavy-hitting planets. And then when Mars retrogrades on October 4th back into the sign of Pisces, where he's frustrated and agitated, he makes his eighth aspect to the sign of Libra. So it makes this disturbance from Mercury, even though he's moving into a friend sign, he's not comfortable. Additionally affecting the transit of Mercury into the sign of Libra is that he's taking what's known as a step down from his exaltation point. So he's stepping down from where he was seated on his throne, stepping down in his power. And even though it's, again, a friend of his, Venus, being a good friend to Mercury, it's not comfortable because he's under the pressure and the scrutiny of two heavy-hitting planets. So what is Mercury? Mercury is this planet of our commercial ability. It's a planet of our transactions. It's the planet of our ability to manage our resources, to create resources. It's the planet of our wealth. It's our planet of our budgeting. It's the planet of our commerce, our trade, our exchange, right? And in coming into the sign of Libra, this place of the scales, this place of balance, it will start to become very vocal and very loud about the disharmony and dissatisfaction it feels with the current economic situation. Additionally, from Saturn, we'll feel repressed in that we won't have the ability to really make inroads in the change of our financial future. So through his stay, through the end of November, Mercury will be extremely agitated in that he's not finding the comfort that he seeks. He's not finding the stability he seeks. What is key here is that we don't become lazy. So Mercury in the sign of Libra can actually start to become lazy, can start to relax because it's just wanting to enjoy and it's just wanting to find its enjoyment. But here, because we're agitated, we want to make sure that our mind does not get distracted just with the comfort. As I will talk about in the Rahu and Ketu video, it's also a time where we can be easily pushed into a solution where we're promised a stability, because Rahu is going to be very focused on finding stability, and there'll be a great promise of it. And with Mercury in the sign of Libra, we can be pressured into thinking that if we do and take certain steps that will be promised security, but in the end we will find out that it's actually not so. So during the transit of Mercury into the sign of Libra, it's very important that you really activate your critical thinking, your critical mind, and don't allow your critical mind to go lazy, but to really take your time with your transactions, with what you're agreeing to, what you're signing, what new alliances that you come into, new relations that you come into, because right now it's not of benefit to really merge into new agreements. If you have already previous plans and previous activities within your business that are moving forward, then you should continue with those. But it's not optimal right now to start new alliances with people, because it just will reveal where you can't really trust them, where it's not really reliable right now due to the negative influences that Mercury is facing from Mars and Saturn. Mercury in this Venus sign is actually going to feel quite repressed. It's going to feel quite confused about what is the right direction, because by October 4th, when Mars moves back into the sign of Pisces, he's not going to have the resources that he needs actually to bring us a solution. It will come later when he moves back into the sign of Airies. So he's going to go back and he's going to give his 8th aspect to Mercury, where he's going to start to unravel and discover what has been hidden, what has not come out into the world public view about the current state of planning for our financial future. But then when he moves back into the sign of Aries, it actually starts to bring in a lot of solutions. So there is good things coming. But from this time until November 28th, we're not going to see a real shift in our finances, a real shift in our economic outlook. We're kind of coming into this dark period for it. And I don't want to scare you, and I don't want to give negative news, but I think we all should be prepared that right now we're kind of coming out from the darkness into the light. So it's this time period where we're not going to be able to really see the solution. We're going to feel very confused. We're going to feel very frustrated. We're going to feel kind of not a bit finding the ability to communicate. We're also going to be challenged within our relationships with one another, because we're going to be confused. We don't know how to interrelate with one another. We don't know how to come in together with one another. So this will add to the confusion, because Mercury is a very, very sociable planet, and Venus is also very sociable, right? So it's wanting to connect, it's wanting to come together, it's wanting to interrelate, and it's wanting to exchange, and it's wanting to create. Mercury and Venus signs really loves to create, really loves to expand on how we can create comfort, how we can find pleasure with one another. But under the aspect of Mars, through its 7th and then 8th aspect particularly, it will be very confusing, and we'll feel restricted from Saturn, where we're not really able to come together once again as we want to. It will come, but right now it's this stage of where we're kind of pushed back into the corner once again. This is important to note so that we can be prepared to know, okay, let's not make real big decisions right now. Let's not sign big contracts. Let's also not plan that it's the end of the world, because this is also a misnomer. It's not the end of the world. We're just shifting in our consciousness. And Rahu and Ketu, through their change, is going to bring in really great things. So we just have to be prepared. So keep yourself stabilized. Don't allow your discriminating mind to become negligible. Like, really pay attention, stay alert. Keep your nervous system very strong, connecting with your breath, right? So anytime that you're feeling anxiety or overwhelmed, just connect with your breath. Move your body, just get out and move your body so that you can bring yourself back into a state of balance, because we don't want to react to anything in an emotional way. We want to elevate ourselves and take good decisions, because Venus is all about looking for good decisions. So Mercury in this sign, it wants it to make good decisions. Now, another important part of this Mercury transit into this Venus ruled sign is that when Venus moves into the sign of Virgo, where it's debilitated during Mercury's transit in Libra, they're going to go into what's called aparnavatya. And aparnavatya just means an exchange. So Venus will be in a Mercury sign and Mercury will be in a Venus sign. And normally this is quite good and would normally help out Venus a lot. But because they both will be under this very cruel aspect of Mars, and then Mercury under this aspect of Saturn, we're not going to get a lot of benefit from it now. And as well, during this time, the Sun will move into its point of debilitation, into the sign of Libra. So we're kind of getting ready to go through this kind of most dark time to really help us to get clarity, to really bring us into a state of, okay, like summing up our lessons of 2020, really bringing us into the depths of us where we're going to need to muster up our courage and keep ourselves in a state of balance, knowing that light is coming and that we are able to come through this quite strong. So get ready for it. Don't be afraid, be prepared. What's really a key is to look at the condition of Mercury in your own chart, to really look and see, how is Mercury? Is Mercury in a happy house? Is he in a happy sign? Is he well supported? Is he afflicted? This helps to understand partly how your Mercury energies will get ignited. Additionally, you really want to know where Libra sits in your house, like what classroom he is awakening for you, because the houses simply are the classrooms of life where we enter in to take our lesson. And right now, all of us, even if we don't have planets in the sign of Libra, it's activating the house for us in a way that's pulling us into the tough classroom. Nobody's escaping this. Nobody's becoming unafflicted. Nobody is free from this. So we all have to pay attention to what it is that we need to learn through Mercury's transit into this house of Libra. Find out where it sits in your chart and understand its nature for you, right? Because for some signs, it's actually not too bad. Now, Mercury in the sign of Libra is also where we're very easily agitated, right? It's where we can really be very stubborn in our thoughts, be very stubborn in our opinions, right? So we can really dig in our heels and lock in thinking that we know things, especially with those that we are closest with, right? So it will affect our personal relationships the most. This kind of stubbornness, thinking that we know everything. We all are experiencing this real divide of our inability to exchange our differences of opinion. Everyone in the world is really talking about this now, thankfully, and hopefully we're looking to find solutions where we can disagree and just agree to disagree and have good old-fashioned discussions so that our intellectual mind is really engaged and not our emotional fears, right, that are really being played out right now in the media and through our social connections. So within our personal relationships, it's really important not to drag this into our home life. This is very, very important because this transit of Mercury can have a real negative effect on our personal relationships now. We also want to make sure that we're really taking care about how we're weighing our decisions, how again we're using our active discriminating mind to really ensuring that we're taking the right steps forward. And sometimes this means just deciding to take a step out for a moment and not making long-term plans for the future. We all have a hard time seeing what will come in the future, but the future is already on its way. It's with us every single moment. So we should be clear about what it is that we want. And you can use Mercury here to really see what your desire connects to, where your mind takes you in this desire of pursuit, especially under the aspect of Mars. This is the positive octave of its teaching, where you can use this energy to really help to engage you to find what it is that you really desire. Now let's take a look sign by sign to see what's occurring for each and every one of us. Now again, this is according to the Vedic system of astrology. It's different to the Western system of astrology by about 24 degrees. The Vedic system used the planets where they actually are sitting against the fixed stars. And the Western system anchors the planets to the Earth, helping to navigate. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It's just that you want to make sure that you know where your signs are according to sidereal Vedic astrology, the yogic science of astrology. So for Aries, this is occurring in your 7th house of partnerships, not only your intimate partnerships, but those who you are working with. Because 7th house is not just our intimate relationships, but it's also the relationships that we form with people on a daily basis. And with your ruling planet being very strong retrograde in your 1st house until October 4th, and now aspecting Mercury in your zone of your relationships, you want to make sure that your communication isn't too harsh, isn't too over the top, because you're already feeling energized, you're already overconfident, and you already blurt things out. So right now, just really weigh on what it is that you're saying before you say it. Just don't unleash the dragon, let's say, like that. Additionally, if you can avoid to sign any contracts right now, it's highly advisable, because right now you won't be seeing very clearly with it, especially from October 4th, when Mars, your ruling planet, will move into your 12th house. So if you have to sign anything, just make sure you read it over and over, and do so before Mars moves into the 12th house and before Mercury starts his retrograde. At that time, it will just go haywire if you agree with anything in a contractual way. So for Taurus, this is occurring in your 6th house, of debt, service, taxes, illness, and Mercury here is under the aspect of Saturn from your 9th house, and you're just about to have Rahu move into your 1st house the very next day, where it's going to flip your world upside down in a lot of great ways. So for you here, it's not such a great transit with Mercury here. Now Mercury, we always want to have tough planets in our difficult houses, and the 6 houses are difficult houses where we have to deal with difficult subjects like debt and taxes and service and illness. We want tough planets there that can help to pull us through. And Mercury is just not a tough planet here, right? Especially in this sign of Venus. It just doesn't really help you out, right? So, but under this pressure from the 9th house from Saturn, it will help to energize it a bit. And what's really critical for you is that you really watch your studies. This is really important. So if you're studying something or learning something, you really need to make sure that your focus is there. Because with Mercury into the sign of Libra, it can become very lazy. It can become very unfocused. And so you need to make sure that you're really locked in on what it is that you need to accomplish if you're doing study or if you're doing additional learning for your workplace. This is going to be very important. You want to be very careful with business transactions right now. So again, if this was a partnership that was formed before Mercury's transit into the sign of Libra, you're fine. But if you come into a space where you have an opportunity to make a new business with new people that are outside of your kind of intimate circle feed, don't do it. Just wait until Mercury moves out of this zone. It's not the right time for you to do this. Additionally, you want to make sure that your health, that you're taking care of your health. So something with your routine and things need to be really shaken up. You could feel a little bit empty in the last few months. I think many people, in fact, are feeling empty right now because the only kind of pleasure that they have with is food, and it's a little bit boring now for everybody. So for Taurus, you really liking to have satisfaction and enjoying indulgent things and just taking care of yourself. You want to make sure that your health is also addressed and that you're not overindulging and hitting your kind of toxicity level with food and not really taking care of yourself, just indulging in your moment to fill this empty void. This is also important for you. But otherwise, with Saturn energizing Mars with the 9th aspect, it's pretty good for learning. Just make sure that you stay focused, because Mercury can get unfocused here. So for Gemini, your ruling planet is moving into the 5th house, and here Mercury is not really helping you out at all. So your ruling planet is not really aiding with you, giving you any benefit at all here. I'm sorry to say. It's highly afflicted, it's highly under pressure. You can have a hard time focusing, you have a hard time getting your clarity together. What's really important is that you energize your breath with pranayama, that you keep yourself really deeply connected with your breath, and whenever you feel anxiety or whenever you feel overwhelmed or you're feeling highly emotional, connect with your breath and get out and exercise. These are 2 medicines for you. Also connecting, if you're in the Vedic system, connecting with Ganesh right now, this will help you a lot with Mercury's transit into your 5th house, right? Because the 5th house is about our place of our karmic actions. It's a place of birthing the things that we love, the things that we create. And this creates a real tension within those you are very intimate with. You can feel totally frazzled, totally frustrated right now. But like I said, the good thing is that Rahu's moving off your 1st house, and you'll start to feel some relief. And really you start to shine again, really after Mercury moves out of this zone of Libra. Unfortunately for you, this is not a good transit. For Cancer, this is occurring in your 4th house, and you need to make sure that you're not getting lazy. There's something with you that's getting lazy, that you're kind of giving up on something, like you're feeling like, oh, I don't need to take care. It's just whatever. This is going to bite you in the ass hard if you take this position. You need to make sure that you keep your eye on the prize, that you keep your eye on your workplace. Otherwise, you're going to have problems with your boss. This is really a guarantee coming in for you. Additionally, it signals a time where you will also have a challenge with your relationships, because 4th house is not just the house of our home, right? So it's often referred to our home, but it's also our inner world, right? So our inner world, that which we experience of ourselves outside of the normal world, right? So here you can just start to feel like, oh, I don't care. You can just shrug it off. And that's going to really bite you in the ass. You need to be really careful of this, because it's something also to do with your career. So you need to make sure that you're not just being like a child, giving up. Don't give up, Cancer, because there's good things coming to you. You know, with Mercury, he's ruling your 12th house and he's ruling your 3rd house. And here in your 4th house, this combination under the affliction of Mars and Saturn is really challenging your inner world and your sense of satisfaction. So if you want to change your job, then do it consciously, but don't do it irresponsibly, because, your boss is also under pressure and they will look to mistakes. So watch out for this. So for Leo, this is occurring in your 3rd house. So your 2nd house ruler, the place of your money, your values, what you bring in is your earning, and your 11th house, also your earnings and your connections with others. Here in the 3rd house, he doesn't do well, and especially under the affliction of Mars and Saturn. Right now, it's important for you to watch what sort of contracts that you get into, what kind of agreements that you get into, because it's not clear. Anything that you have to do with numbers right now is really important. You need to double check them, triple check them. This is really important right now, because there's something with numbers that's going to be showing as errors if you don't pay attention, because Mercury can get unfocused and can get lazy here. This is also very important. For those who are with a Leo rising, who are working within the arts, this is also a challenging time where you can see clients leave you. So do be mindful that your budgeting is clear, that you have some preparation in case you need some extra cushion, and look for alternative ways for earning some extra income, and you'll see this transit through in a good way. Don't be lazy, be focused, and don't sign any agreements right now. So for Virgo, your ruling planet has moved into the 2nd house, and this is actually doing quite well for you. So even though it's afflicted, it's actually doing quite well for you. You need to take care of your speech. You need to take care of what you're taking in terms of food, what you're taking in terms of belief, like what you're connecting with. You may feel restricted in your communications with the outer world. So you're going to be one of those signs that really thinks like their communication and their freedom of speech is really being impacted and really wanting to stand up. So you need to be careful of this, because with Mars aspecting it, you can communicate very poorly with those who are closest to you right now and start to create issues within your home environment. So do be mindful of what you say. Otherwise, it's actually a good transit for you. Your speech is the main problem for you. Otherwise, it brings in money, it brings in new clients for you. It really gets pressured into creating money for you, but it's your speech that can screw everything up within your home and within your workplace. So do be mindful of that. So for Libra, this is occurring in your first house. And Mercury does not do well for you in the first house. It actually did better for you in the 12th house. In your first house, it's not so great, right? So you can feel confused about who you are in contract with, who you are connected with in a work environment and in the home environment. You can feel greatly confused. Actually, Libra's had a really hard summer. You are having a hard summer this one, and I'm very sorry for you. But you need to just not feel confused, but really start to grip yourself before you start to spin out thinking, I don't know what to do. Just really pull your boots up and grip yourself and say, okay, what is it that I really want to be connected with? What is it that I really want to do? This is the best use of its energy for you. You need to watch your health right now. This is also very important. It's a hard transit for you, Mercury in your first house and where Mars is sitting and with Saturn there too. It can make you actually neglect your duties and responsibilities, and this will create problems for you within your home environment and your work environment, so do take care. The benefit that Mercury has for you here is that there's an increase of wanting to learn something higher, something of a higher education you're really interested in now in achieving. This is actually a good aspect that it will bring to you in this learning of something that's greater, adding to your skills and giving you some satisfaction. Otherwise, Mercury in your first house, you're just feeling confused and irritated and being neglectful. Right? So don't escape because you've had a hard summer. You're nearly through this really challenging time, right? And so you want to be clear about what it is your path, right? Because soon K2 is going to move into your second house, and it's going to start to dig in on your value statement right now. Your value statement for you, your value statement for what you're bringing in. So it's really important right now you get clear about this. For Scorpio, this is occurring in your 12th house, and this is not great for you. So here it can bring in a lot of increased expenses, increased desire to escape. You can feel really frustrated right now. You can feel really misunderstood right now. There's a lot of pressure that's occurring within your inner relationship or your interrelationship with others right now. So you can feel extremely tempted to just escape, So getting into especially conspiracy theories and things that take you kind of down this rabbit hole. And this is not good for you because when it starts to come out of this phase and comes into your first house, you're going to say, what did I do with all my time, right? So make sure that you are still connected with your responsibilities and doing your duties, because if you're alert with Mercury in your 12th house, he can actually bring somebody in your field that is a new client for you. So it's good for business in this way, but you need to keep your mind focused and not allow it to spin out in this fantasy desire of escape because you're just feeling like, what's next? Stay focused because there's a big client, a big opportunity that's right in front of you coming. It looks to be a foreign one, because Mercury rules your 11th, he's in your 12th. It looks like it's a foreign one for you. So keep your eyes peeled because this can be good for you, Scorpio. Just don't escape. Otherwise, you'll miss the opportunity to catch that fish. Also, Scorpio, you want to take care of your miscommunications right now. This is also really important because you have this ability right now to really not. Naturally, you have this ability to kind of talk in a very secretive way, and with Mercury in your 12th, you can also miscommunicate. So this becomes like a double whammy, and you can really upset, especially those who are in your intimate circle, your family and your children. You can really just put them in a place where they just feel fed up with you, right? Because through the summer, you've been very active with feeling you can tell everybody what to do, and often what you gave as advice was good, but right now you can miscommunicate, right? You can be misunderstood. What's good with this, Scorpio, is that you have your ruling planet transiting your 6th house right now until October 4th. And he's right there helping to protect you from any negativity right now that will come through as Mercury is transiting your 12th house. So this is a benefit for you. Just watch that you're not misunderstood. Keep your eyes focused on this potential of a new client, something from outside of something unusual, something weird, a foreigner perhaps, or a different way of doing business, a new client. Keep your eyes focused for the opportunity that comes, because there's a lot of opportunity even though we're in this state of confusion. For Sagittarius, Mercury is moving into your 11th house, and this is not such a great transit for you either, in that Mercury is not doing a lot of good things for you through its transit. Jupiter right now, having just gone direct, your ruling planet, this is actually starting to bring you increased energy, but you also feel this weight of responsibility, like, how am I going to deal with it all? It's kind of like the gravity of the situation is really upon you with the responsibilities you have right now. And with Mercury transiting your 11th house under the affliction of Saturn and Mars, it's really not doing you any good. And especially through the 23rd of October, from the 23rd of October, it eases off. And then through November, it gets a little bit better. But really through the 23rd of October, it's not great. Additionally, you want to look out for any bad advice that you may be getting from a friend. So a friend that may be well-meaning may give you bad advice right now, not intentionally. So, and then you will blame them, and then your relationship will suffer. So don't seek advice from friends right now. It won't help you at all. For Capricorn, this is occurring in your 10th house, and this is good. Actually, this Mercury transit for you, Capricorn, is quite good. There can be an issue with your creativity or a desire to be creative with things, to kind of find interesting and new solutions within your workplace of figuring something out, especially if you deal with numbers, right? If you do this, your boss will come at you. So don't be creative in your workspace. Keep your nose just on the grindstone doing your work, and don't be creative to find a new way of doing things or proposing a new way, because this could actually get you into trouble with your seniors within, or your authorities within your workplace, that can really get you into a lot of trouble right now. Additionally, now is not the time to take decisions with real estate. It's not the time to make changes with your real estate, to make major repairs within your home right now. It's not the time to do it. Just wait until Mercury moves into your 11th house much later in the year, where you start to work on plans for what can come in the spring. It's a better time for you. For Aquarius, this is occurring for you in your 9th house, and this is not so great. Mercury in the 9th house is not great for Aquarius, especially in regards to business contracts, business relations, and creating long-term plans. It's not the time to do it. Unless you've had something going from the last few months or a year or so, and it's kind of coming into a state of fruition, then it's okay. But if it's something that's new, relatively new, it's not the time to sign any agreements. It will actually cause you a lot of problems. If you're having doubt right now, put on the brakes and say, no, I'm not sure about this. I need to think more, and that's okay, because you need to really listen to your intuition of what is right for you, because there's an issue with contracts in regards to finances and who you're going to bind yourself with in your commitments with this, because you will end up holding the ball of this. Additionally, if you're having contracts drawn up for your business agreements, really take time to read them and have somebody else advise you on reading them through, just to make sure everything is clear. This is also important. Be cautious right now. It's really difficult for you to make confident decisions right now. And it's okay to say, I'm not confident, but that doesn't mean to disappear from taking responsibility for yourself. It just means to take a step back and to really weigh your decisions, right? So Libra is really all about the weighing and assessing of things. So it's okay to take a step back and assess if it's a really viable business relation for you right now. That's okay to do, and just feel confident in saying, I need more time. Pisces, this is occurring in your 8th house, and normally this would be good. The problem right now is the aspect from Mars, right? And Mars soon, on October 4th, will move into your 1st house. So this is not a great transit for you right now. You can feel a lot of pressure with your nervous system, a lot of pressure with your ability to make decisions, to see things clearly. You can have your anxieties really stirred up right now from this aspect from Mars into Mercury into your 8th house. Take care of your energy. It's a good time to investigate. It's a good time to discover things. It's a good time to use this energy instead of allowing it to spin out and make you feel nervous, but to lock in and learn something new, really investigating something new. This will benefit you a lot with the transit of Mercury into your 8th house. It also can help you to bring in a lot of insight and a lot of discovery, right? So it's not this emotional type of investigation. It's more intellectual, right? What is hidden? What is behind the scenes? Like you're a detective discovering something new. Really lock into that so you can utilize this kind of disturbed nervous energy of Mercury in the sign of Libra under the aspect of Mars, where it just makes you feel a little anxious. It's not so great for you. I thank you very much for joining me in my video today. Please like and subscribe and comment below. I really enjoy my interactions with you. I appreciate your time in following me and taking time to review my channel. I hope that these insights help you in navigating this transit of Mercury. I send you lots of blessings and lots of love, and I hope to see you in my next video. Satanam.